everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I've done a few makeup don'ts videos in the past and they've gone really well, but the only problem is that you don't really learn anything from them. They're just there to be laughed at if you found them funny. This video is going to be more so teaching you how to correct those, makeup mishaps, I guess you could call them. So on one side of my face, I'll be showing you the way not to apply a certain product, in my opinion, and then the way that I would apply it. Just quickly, I don't mean to offend anyone at all with this video. If you do something, in this tutorial that I consider wrong and you like doing it that way, then go for it. It's just, what I've been taught and what I feel works best and is most flattering on people's faces. So please don't take anything to heart. I'm just trying to be just peace and love. Now I have the camera set up in a very unflattering angle. It's like straight onto my face, very confronting, but it just kind of shows you the makeup a little bit better. So the first makeup mishap is choosing the wrong foundation shade. Now I know you're not going to choose the wrong foundation shade on purpose. It's usually just a case of being matched to the wrong shade, not being able to test out the color on your skin in store, or just simply not knowing how to choose the right foundation shade. Now, if I turn my head this way, you can see that this side of my face matches my neck. I've got fake tan on, that's why this foundation is quite yellow, but it needs to be yellow, otherwise it's not going to match my body, and that's the whole thing with foundation, is it has to match your body. If I turn to this side, you can see that it's very pink, it's almost looks a little bit ashy, and it's too light. So the biggest thing that I see with foundation is not only that it's too dark or too light, it's that it's the wrong tone. So my skin is obviously quite yellow tone at the moment, and my foundation is way too pink. So it's very beigey pink. This one does look very yellow, but that's just because it's compared to a pink foundation. But this one is yellow tone, it isn't too dark, it isn't too light, and it just matches a little bit more seamlessly. Now I've skipped concealer and I've gone straight to powder. So the problem with this side of my face is that firstly, the powder is the wrong shade. It's way too warm toned. So this has just made my skin look even more pink. And even if my foundation was the right shade and I put this over, it would still make my foundation way too pink. So try and find a powder that is the right shade, that complements your foundation shade and doesn't override it. The next thing that I've done many times before, and I know many people have done as well and continue to do, is use a powder foundation over a foundation. The difference between pressed powder and a powder foundation is that a pressed powder can be used just to set your foundation, rather than a powder foundation which is usually meant to be worn on its own, so it doesn't need anything underneath it because it has a decent amount of coverage. So if you're wearing a foundation, mainly full coverage, and then you go over with a powder foundation, it's like full coverage plus full coverage, and it's very thick. I'm totally aware that some girls have very bad skin and they can't help it, and that gives them more confidence, and by all means go for it. But there are many girls who have flawless skin who don't need to hide it, and this is coming from me who loves full coverage. So anyway, now this side has been set with a pressed powder, and it's using a shade that complements my foundation shade. So it's still a yellow based powder and it hasn't added much coverage. The next thing I see a lot is the overuse of bronzer. So as you can see on this side, I've just got a whole lot of bronzer on my cheeks. So it pretty much goes from here to the apples of my cheeks, and a little bit on my jawline and down my nose. So I love bronzer, don't get me wrong, bronzer is just amazing because it can give you like a nice sculpted out face and cheekbones and all that good stuff. There's a certain level where you just kind of cross the line and it's become just, whoa, bronzer, and it just looks a bit muddy and it's just a little bit over the top. Now, this isn't bronzer, this is just contouring. So as you can see, I've kind of sculpted out the cheekbone and a little bit on my forehead and on my temple, not that much, but just a little bit here just to sculpt out my cheekbones. Here I've just applied it as a contouring powder and as a bronzer and as a blush because it's also on the apples of my cheeks. I just think some girls do both, so that ends up covering the hollows of the cheek and the cheekbone and the apples of your cheeks. So your whole cheek is just bronzer. Now I'll show you what I would suggest instead. So you can see that I've already got just a nice little sculpted out bit here, but that thick stripe here. So that brings me on to my next step. So as you can see on this side of my face, I've just got a little bit of blush going from my temples to the apples of my cheeks. Nothing too obnoxious, nothing too heavy or too dark. Just a really simple, nice, basic blush and contouring little combo. This side, because I already had the bronzer and then I'm going over with a blush, it's like, whoa! It's just really intense. It's really, really dark, and it's just we wear blush because we want it to look natural and like we're just flushed and we just come back from the gym and we're just, you know, the blood has rushed to our cheeks because we're acting like glowing and youthful, whatever. And we contour or we bronze to make ourselves look more sculpted and sun-kissed. So that's why when you go overboard, you're kind of defeating that purpose, and it's just, it goes a little bit too heavy and it's a little bit too much. So in moderation, it's great, but when it's kind of crossed the line, it's a little bit too much. Now the next thing I see a lot is people neglecting their eyebrows. So eyebrows are just the most amazing things in the universe, honestly. If you fill them in right, or you wax them right, or you shape them right, they have the power to frame your whole face, and they just make anyone 10 times prettier or more attractive. I just honestly think they're like just a secret weapon of everyone's faces. Now if you weren't lucky enough to be born with nice, thick, full eyebrows, then you can just fill them in. Or if you were born with tongue-tied, thick, full eyebrows, then you can get them shaped or waxed to complement your face shape, and that will just transform your whole face. Now this is a pretty obvious one, just highlighter. I mean, highlighter is meant to be used in moderation because it is so eye-catching in itself. So if you have a thick highlighter stripe down your face, I mean, obviously it's going to catch attention, but it could be the wrong kind of attention. If it's just a nice little, very subtle amount of sheen on the cheekbone, it's going to make your cheekbones look like they're just sky high and very round and high and just beautiful. So the next step is the blending of eyeshadow. So as you can see, this side here has been, you know, nicely blended out. It starts off full at the base of the eyelid, and then it's very smoked out towards the eyebrow. And this side, yeah. So there's a very noticeable line where your eyeshadow ends and your skin begins. And that is that line just there. I know sometimes it can be hard, especially if you don't have the right brush. Brushes are amazing, and I suggest investing in a brush like this or a brush like that to blend out eyeshadows. If you don't have one, it's honestly very, very hard, and I can understand why eyeshadow might not be blended out properly. Just try not to leave your eyeshadow with very harsh lines. Now that might be the look that you're trying to achieve, but if it's not, just try and really blend it in using windscreen wiper motions. So my next point is obviously eyeliner. Now if you like your eyeliner like this, awesome, keep doing it, whatever you feel comfortable with. But in terms of what will flatter your face the most, I honestly think it looks best if you do a bit of eyeliner on the top of your lash line, blend it out with your finger or a brush, and then trace a little bit of that eyeliner on the bottom, you know, outer corner of your, the outer corner of your bottom lash line, and just, you know, smudge it in with your finger like you saw that I did. I've seen a lot of girls who create a very thin line on top of their eyelid, and then a very thick line on the bottom, and this really weighs the eyes down. Eyeliner should always be more thick on the top of the lash line rather than on the bottom of the lash line. And if you don't want to wear eyeliner on the bottom lash line, then by all means don't. But it's not very flattering if you wear it only on the bottom of your lash line and not on the top as well. So the next common mistake is mascara. So this side you can see it's just a nice even application of mascara on my top and bottom lashes. Some people don't like putting mascara on their bottom lashes, and that's fine, it's whatever you personally prefer. But at least it's nice and even and it isn't clumpy or anything like that. Although I'm sure I'm going to get people saying that it's clumpy, but anyway. This side, I'm trying to show you a little bit closer up. All my eyelashes are stuck together, and on my bottom lash line they're all stuck together as well. But yeah, instead of pushing my eyelashes up and towards my eyebrows, I pull them away towards my ears. Using lipsticks that are just way too light, just way too light. They almost look like concealers, or even using concealer on your lips. It's just not meant to be used for that purpose. It's drying the lips. It makes your lips look flaky and just, yeah, dehydrated. Whereas if you have a nude lipstick, and by the way, these are both nude lipsticks, if you have a nude lipstick that does dull down the actual colour of your natural lips, at least my lips still look, you know, identifiable as lips. I mean, if you like your makeup like this, then that's awesome, and I'm not being sarcastic. I mean, wear it. It's whatever you feel comfortable in. But in my opinion, there are more flattering ways of applying your makeup. So we've got that one. I'll just let you have a little look. And I'm not really sure if you can see, but my pores and my skin looks horrible right now because there's just so much product sinking into my skin and my pores. And then we have the side that I would prefer, in my opinion. I just think it's much more flattering. It's just everything is used in moderation, everything's blended out, everything is the right shade and tone and texture, and it's just much more flattering on the skin. So I have a little side view, and you can also see, hopefully, I hope you can see anyway, that my skin, the texture is much nicer and my pores don't look absolutely massive, and it just looks much more natural. So that's that side, and then that's that side. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video or you learned something from it, and if you were offended by anything, I'm honestly very sorry. I did not mean to offend you if you got offended. I'm just merely trying to show you ways of applying makeup that will enhance and complement your features in your face rather than, I don't know, mask them. My jacket is from Daily Look. My rings are also from Daily Look, and my top I bought overseas, which is just a plain white top. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.